Hi, you're right. So this is day 8, Durex part 1. So we know that lots of people feel it's hard to talk about sex with adults. Would you say you feel that's true for you or not? Um, well, firstly, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to by adults. Do you mean purely just parents or adults in general? Because I don't really find myself speaking to too many adults about my personal sex life. Maybe joking about it with a couple of work friends, but again, I don't look at them as adults now. I see them as my equals. If you're referring more to parents, I've never found it hard to speak to my parents about sex. Um, at the same time, I will say that we've never discussed it seriously. They've never felt the need to tell me anything serious about it. They've made little jokes. But the first few girls that I brought back to the house, I made like in a sort of, oh, are you using this protection? Are you doing everything correctly? And I'd just be like, yeah, 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 and that's it. That'd have been fine. Um, Probably at that age, I would have felt a lot more embarrassed to speak about things like that. But currently, I don't know. My mum always jokes, takes the piss. She knows my girlfriend comes around. She knows she'll make fun. Sometimes she might have heard us in the night when we come back drunk. Um, yeah, so I've never found it difficult. I definitely would never speak to them about my parents. I mean, about their sexual relations, not in any detail. They're split up now, so I wouldn't be speaking to them about what their sex life's like with their new partners. Don't see a need for it, and I wouldn't want to. Um, but yeah, they don't feel the need to speak to me about it either. And then if we're looking at it from the other point of view of adults just being people that are older than you, well, I've no problem speaking to anyone about it. In all honesty, unless it's like your boss at work, someone in a position of power over you, then you might feel embarrassed if you needed to for whatever reason speak to them. But now that I'm 23, I don't see a problem with speaking to anyone really about it if it needs to be. So tell us a bit when you've spoken to parents about sex, if you have. Well, as I say, yeah, like my parents sort of gave me the parent pep talk about it when I was younger, but they did it in a really jokey manner. So it would have just been like, oh, no, like have you considered this? And I don't know, they would have just took the piss, probably made jokes about me not being able to perform, or just things like that. They wouldn't have. They've never sat me down and had like a really serious conversation. They're not those sort of parents to have done that. They're both quite young, both in their age and the way they act. So we never had a serious discussion like that. A few jokes here and there, and never needed any advice or anything off my dad. Not specifically. So yeah, what was the tone of the conversation been? Well, as I say, I keep answering all the questions ahead of them, but yeah. So the tone of the conversation, like jokey, jovial. They're not serious people about anything. So especially when it comes to something like that, I think for them it's a lot easier rather than to make it a serious discussion, just to make it a sort of a bit of a joke out of it, and then just throw in a few key points that they might have wanted to say in that. How would you like it to be? Um, I can't say that I personally would mind if my parents sat me down and had a serious discussion with me. But in all honesty, like they were shocked by the fact that I think it was like in year 3 or year 4 at primary school we were having a sex education lesson, to which they got a letter sent home asking for their permission whether it'd be alright to do that, and yeah, I wouldn't have minded it being serious, but because probably they assumed that at school it was serious, which it wasn't, because everyone was just taking the piss out of the video, and then the guy putting a Johnny on a banana, like. So, but yeah, I wouldn't have minded it, but at the same time, I probably appreciated it at the time, because I say this now, but at the time I probably would have been a lot more embarrassed about the whole situation, and it did make me feel easier about it. So next is when it comes to talking about sex with friends, some people find that easier. Well, yeah, it's definitely a lot easier. I mean, it's not hard for me with my parents, but with your friends, it's not a taboo topic, especially nowadays. 10, 20 years ago, I know things have been a lot different. You don't speak about those sort of things. You keep it all quiet. During the days when people expected you to like wait till marriage to fornicate. Nowadays, that's not the case, especially for lads. A conquest, it is a conquest. When you're single, you want to tell everyone about it. You probably tell some guy that you just bumped into in the supermarket that you haven't seen for a few years, or just, You just tell anyone about it, especially if you were pissed. You'd come out of the toilet and be like, oh, just bang that girl in there. So that's the way lads are. So it is a lot easier nowadays. I know girls, even though you know girls speak about it often. They go into a lot more depth. Boys don't really go into depth. They just specify what happened, where it happened, and who with. Possibly the level of drunkenness and whether they're going to speak to the girl again. But that's about it. You have a little laugh, and then they'll only specify things if anything funny happened, like they tripped over a leg and landed boner on the floor, something like that. Otherwise, that's it. Whereas girls, they'll go into more depth. They'll start talking about the exact sort of things that may have happened. They'll speak about the next day, whether they want to see him again, whether they want to do it again, whether he was a caring lover, or all that sort of stuff. Boys, we don't. We just, it's easy because you just tell them about it, but it's not any sort of serious discussion. I've never had a serious discussion about sex with any of my friends, and I wouldn't really see the need to. Is it something that you and your friends talk about? Well, yeah, as I say, any boyfriend, not boyfriend, but any boy mate that I have, he will straight away tell me if he's slept with a girl, unless she's a real munter, then he probably may avoid the whole situation. But yeah, otherwise, if they're happy about their conquest, then they'll definitely tell you about it. Yeah, and we all find it easy to talk about. As again, when you say talk about, it seems like we speak about it and discuss it, and it's like an open discussion. And it's not really like that. It's just one person being like, "Ah, last night I fucking boned this girl. She did this, so I ain't gonna call her again." And that's it. And then you move on. I'm not trying to make it out in a really crude way that any of us are crude, but that's just the way that boys talk about those sort of things. Is it something that you find is important to talk about? Definitely not important in any way. It's just a bit of a laugh, like a joke. Most of the time, it's in a sort of jokey manner, but not important to talk about. You probably wouldn't want to be one of those people, like a complete prude, that wouldn't be able to discuss those sort of things with your friends in case the situation ever arose that you might need to speak about it with them for whatever reason. Maybe if something serious had happened, or you've impregnated the girl, and then you'd want to be able to talk about it. But but see, something like that happened with me. I don't even think that I would speak to my friends about it. I think that then I might actually go back to my parents and have a word with them about the situation in a more serious tone, rather than telling my friends. And I know that they'd just be like, "Really? Oh shit, got it, mate." And that'll be it. They wouldn't know what to say. They just so yeah. Um, would you say you're a relationship person or someone who likes being single and having no strings adventures? I would have to say that I'm a relationship person. I've been with the same girl now for 5 years, so just purely on that fact, I can't even answer that question differently. I love having my girlfriend. I think it's amazing, not just purely for the sexual purposes of, sorry, sexual reasons. It's just more for the fact of just having someone that's always on your side, that you can discuss anything you like with, that whenever you're down you can speak to them. It's all those sort of things that make you a relationship person. Until you find someone that you feel that comfortable with, you probably will be a single and having no strings adventures kind of guy. But when you find the right girl or boy or whatever it is for you, then yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone becomes a relationship person. So why is this? Well, I've just explained that as well. Just because of the pleasance of interaction with another person who you feel close and intimate with, and you can't tell anything to. So lastly, do you reckon you're more experienced with sex than your friends? Um, I'd say we're all about equally experienced with sex. I don't know, but everyone sort of lost their virginity at a different age. But once again, when boys talk about sex, you don't know if it's true or not, because a lot of people do like to tell fibs, sort of big up their sexual experiences, maybe multiply by 3 their encounters, maybe take a couple of years off the first time. So you don't really know. I know that most of my friends are either currently in a long-term relationship or have been in a long-term relationship. And in a long-term relationship, everyone becomes pretty experienced with sex. So I'd say we're all on about equal level of not a veteran as of yet, but we're making our way there.